Welcome, everybody. This is Kelly with Pathway Hypnotherapy and Intuitive Counseling, LLC. And what I'm here to talk about today is the law of attraction, because I know that a lot of people are interested in this sort of stuff and how it works. And it's important, too, to talk about, because just as we know that there are universal laws at work, always at work, it's important to understand that we understand that. Because whether we want them to or not, whether we think they are at work or not, that they are, and it impacts your life. So the more that you understand it, the more that you understand that you are in control of what actually flows into your life, that you're the architect of your lifetime, it's usually very helpful to you as far as being able to live your life in a much better way. So we're going to talk about that. And also, second part of our discussion today is going to be about demystifying what psychic mediumship is. And so those are the two topics today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it and then open up to questions as well. Let us begin by first talking about the fact that there are universal laws at play. And one of which is law of attraction. Basically, the crux of what that is that where we place our thoughts is what actually shows up in our life. So we are absolutely co-creators of what's happening in our lifetime. And that's important for all of us to know and understand in order to have a greater sense of empowerment in your life. With that being the case, that of which, where you place your thoughts, meaning that all thoughts are creative, we're better suited really to place our thoughts on what it is that we want, get clarity about that, what it is that we want, and focus our attention and our energy there as opposed to looking at the lack side of the equation. And many of us have been socialized to do that, looking at the lack side of the equation. Well, I can tell you that has a lot to do with why a lot of things show up in our life that are challenging. And we're conditioned to be that way because we have been conditioned to understand that there's lack in life when actually there really isn't. And that's a whole nother conversation that we'll have as part of this discussion, but that kind of more goes into the spiritual aspects of me being a psychic medium and learning certain things about, spirituality and how and abundance and how all that works and how our belief systems actually drive how abundant or lack of abundance we have in our life. But spiritually, I've come to understand that there is no lack of abundance. And what keeps us from it is our perception that there is. So, again, all a part of law of attraction. To understand that where you place your thoughts actually manifests and has impact upon what actually shows up in your life is huge. It's a huge thing to really begin to wrap your mind around. Because if you begin to really understand that you are the architect, then you actually have control over a lot of what happens. So let's talk and delve a little bit more about how all that works, because it's easy to say that, but really delving into more of the complexity about how it works helps us to understand what it is that we can do in order to redirect the way that we think in order to improve the quality of our lives. So let's just first start with we're better off to front load our thoughts on what it is that we desire. So how many people give ourselves permission to even give ourselves time to even sit and think about what it is that we really want for our life? We're so busy doing a lot of what is expected of us, what we feel obligated to do. But how often do we just give ourselves permission to sit and think, at my essence, at my core, what is it that I really want? What am I passionate about? What am I driven? What drives my interest? Because that's all important stuff. That all gives you subtle hints. It's basically your God sense sort of trying to navigate you throughout this lifetime in a happy and purposeful and peaceful way. When we allow a lot of the outside chatter to come in and to define what our actions are, who we think we should be, that's when we begin to go off the rails. We're always far better to honor what our knowings are, what our interests are, follow our gifts even. Like, for example, if you are told coming up that It's good to be a doctor, it's good to be a lawyer, because that is going to earn you a good income. But if your personality lends more to creativity, to the arts, then you are just going to die in that profession of doing what it is that you think that you should be doing. And then, as many people are, they come and sit in my chair at 40 or 50 years old saying, I just feel unfulfilled, I feel stuck, I don't know what to do, I don't even know where to begin. It's because you weren't encouraged, or you didn't give yourself space in order to consider who you are at your essence. Because that's sort of your hints, your little whispers as far as what directions to take that you should be taking in your life. So that begins the kind of conversation about law of attraction. Everything starts with thought. This is why I begin with it's important to it's important to give yourself time and give yourself permission to consider who it is that you are, what you want, and get clarity on that. Because everything begins with thought. Even in the morning when you wake up and you think, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. So what generally follows that thought? An action, right? Or a decision that I'm hungry, so I'm going to fix something to eat. And then action follows that. This is how basically things unfold in your life. You have a thought. A thought is creative because it sets your intention to do something based upon the original thought. Intention comes from that, and then action follows. This is how law of attraction works as well. However, we need to get clear on what it is that we really, really want and train our conscious mind to be mindful about placing our thoughts in with getting clear on what it is that you want and following that, having that in your forward lens, as opposed to always lamenting on what it is that we lack, what we don't have. And it's interesting when I had my very first creating and manifesting course that I gave, and it was a seminar, and I asked someone in the group, what is it that you want? You're at a creating and manifesting seminar. What is it that you want? And this lovely man, and I didn't mean to pick on him, but it was just for example purposes. He launched into about 5-8 minutes worth of what he didn't have, when the question was, what is it that you want? And I did that purposefully in order to highlight to the group how our inclination is to just go into the lack side of the equation in most of our thoughts. When I'm asking, what is it that you want? Well, I want a bigger house because the house that we have now, my wife isn't very happy with, and it's not the greatest of the area, and and they can't go out and play readily, and I worry about them. And most of the conversation, when the question is, what is it that you want, is filled up. Your energy resides in the lack side of the equation. So as law of attraction works, how does the good stuff flow in when you are spending most of your energy, most of your thoughts, which are creative, on the lack side of the equation? And we wonder why we have some issues getting what it is that we desire. So the first order of business, set aside some time, give yourself permission to really go in at your core, at your essence. Who am I? And what is it that I truly desire for my life? Because I can tell you with every sense of the word that it's already divinely agreed to. But this is how it works. And if this is pretty important stuff, that whatever we desire, whatever we connect to emotionally, that it is that we desire. For example, when I started my private practice, I used to work in corporate America. And so, but I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I always desired to have my own business. So that was just a real knowing that all of my years in corporate America, it didn't sit well in my spirit. I knew that I did not belong there, and that my true desire was to have my own business. There were many contrasts that would come up to remind me every day. I did not like being micromanaged by someone else. I liked having flexibility in my schedule. I did not like going to the same location every day. There were just so many things. I didn't like my income being capped. So I worked in an environment that none of those things were the case, but still it did not sit well in my spirit because to some degree I was still accountable to someone else, what their bigger picture was, even though I disagreed with things. And, it just didn't feel right in my spirit. So through the art of creating and manifesting and law of attraction, how this worked was I set out really my intention to begin my own business. And it was with the help of a lot of the blessed friends that I have that did an actual intervention on me, because I was supposed to be going back to school in order to get my PharmD, go back to school to become a pharmacist. Now, anybody who knows me, I have kind of a big personality. And so my friend said to me, Keli, what are you doing? Do your spiritual work, do your own business. You will shoot everybody in the pharmacy, in that little four walls of a pharmacy building, just counting pills all day. And, he was absolutely right. And that came from love that he said that to me. I had a number of other friends of mine that are close, that I hold so close and dear, that they're truths to me. They're honest with me, and don't have a filter with me. Another one was Deb Blanchard, who's like, Kel, I know you can do that, but why the hell are you going back to school doing all that chemistry and physics and all that you did again? Because I did that in my undergrad years at UC Berkeley. Also, another good friend of mine calls me Red. He says, Red, why are you doing that? I just don't get it. It just doesn't resonate with who you are. You've done a lot of things. It just doesn't seem like you've settled into what it is that you want to do. And when I did this, he was one of the first ones that said to me, this fits. This seems like you. You seem happy. You seem impassioned. You seem like you're thriving and you're good at it. And Deb did the same thing, and John and Tomasa did the same thing. And it was almost like within a 7-day period of time, I had that validation from 5 people who I regard as being very, very truthful with me, and I can, ride with me till the wheels fall off. And so I made that decision then in that moment to strike out and to do my own thing and follow my passion and to start my own business. And so that's when I launched into learning the art of hypnotherapy as a natural adjunct to my intuitive psychic work that I've done for many, many, many years, that I've been doing work for people who just friends and family, just because I loved it. And I enjoyed developing my own gifts. So that came with thought. That first came with some intervention, but it came with the thought, okay, this is really what I want. And so I set some intention with it. It's like, this is what I'm going to do, because I have all this life experience in order to validate what it is that I know. And so action just followed. I went and got my training from one of the best training places that you can get for what it is that I do, because education is important to me. And I set forth and I opened up my own office. And from day one, it has been a joy. It has been prosperous, and it has been a learning experience that I embrace every day. And the experience that I have is so joyful with my clients. I enjoy it because it's a two-way energy exchange, and it fills me up. And not many people can say that they actually love what it is that they do. So this is the wonderful part about setting thought about what it is that you desire, because it all starts there, getting clarity and going with your gut, connecting with the emotion of what it is that you truly desire, and then know that that is already divinely agreed to by spirit, by God, whatever you want to call the divine. It's already divinely agreed to. We are all energy and all vibrational beings. So when you connect with your desire and you think about it and you set the intention on it, that intention begins to launch out into the universe to work on your behalf. It's conspiring to bring it into your reality. So it's already divinely agreed to. You've set out the intention, you've gotten the clarity, and you set the intention for it. But here it is, since we're vibrational beings and we tend to look at the lack side of the equation, we're kind of hanging down these lower realms, and what we desire is already divinely agreed to. It's like in a spiritual escrow of sorts. Well, what we do is, as we place more and more attention on what it is that we want and connect with the emotion of having received it, what happens is, because we're vibrational beings and we're all energy, we begin to elevate our vibration. And as you elevate that vibration, you eventually align it with that of what it is that you desire, and then you allow it to flow in. And that's how it begins to manifest into your reality. However, there's a few other key points as well. Connecting with that sense of emotion of having already received what it is that you desire is so important, because it allows you to be in an open space, a place of allowance, and in gratitude, because since you connect with it at your core, then it's already divinely agreed to. It's already just waiting there for you to become in alignment with it. So that's all your work is adjusting your belief system that you are deserving of it, that it is available to you, is your divine right to receive it, because it is. And allowing your vibration to elevate in order to that of what it is that you desire for it to flow in. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful, magical thing. And it's far easier than what we tend to default to as far as the left side of the equation, day in and day out. So my advice is to practice this. Know that you are deserving. Know that you're deserving of everything that you emotionally truly desire, because the fact that you connect with it, it has everything to do with what your purpose was for coming into this lifetime. And the more you release yourself from fear of lack, fear of whatever it is, fear of failure, fear of whatever, because all fear is false evidence appearing real. It just really robs you of your now moments. And in each and every day, all we have are our now moments. And when we tend to regret the past, spend our time and energy, our now moment, sacrifice our now moment to the past of what's happened and what we are regretful of, well, there's no way we can go back and change anything. That is just useless and a waste of your energy, because you can never affect what's already happened. You can't change the past. All we have is our now moment, and be creative in this moment of who it is that we want to be, and be that. And fear robs you of your now moment, because it prevents you from, it spends your now moment or wastes your now moment on something that may not even happen. So either way, whether it's regret or fear, you're sacrificing your now moment to be all that you could be and to have that clarity and move in that direction. These are some helpful hints that I'm hoping that can just plant seeds of thought, so that you can begin to understand what your power is in your life, and to begin to move forward in ways that you really truly desire, and to leave behind you all the stuff that the lack side, because the way that you can truly resolve that is getting clear on where it is that you're going, what it is that you want, and follow your dreams and dream big, swing for the fences, because when you're doing this work, there's no lack of abundance in any way, shape, or form. You're only limited by your perceptions in life. So you change your mind, you change your life, you change what shows up in it. So I'm hoping that these are these seeds that give people pause and thought, that you can think about these things, because it allows you to become far more empowered in your life, and to redirect it in ways and have things show up in ways that you really truly want for it. And we all deserve to connect with what it is that we truly desire, because it's already our birthright, our divine birthright to receive it. I'm here at my office at the end of the day of a whole lot of sessions and work, and I feel energized. I feel good. This is a true testimonial of what you're supposed to feel like when you're doing your life's work. It doesn't drain you. It energizes you. You get pumped up more and more during the day, and willing to do Facebook Live at 5:30 in the evening. So maybe next time that we get together again, we can talk about some other things and have some people weigh in on some questions. I was going to talk about psychic mediumship too, but I don't know if my battery's going to hold out. So I think we're going to leave it for now, and I'll revisit that tomorrow. Anyone who is inclined to listen to this recording later on after we go off live, I hope that you would have gained something from it. And if you have any questions that you'd like to post on my website, I will happily answer them. Or if you want to call me at my office. You can call me Keli Raymond, signing off for Pathway Hypnotherapy and Intuitive Counseling, LLC. Thank you for joining me today, or thank you for watching this video after as we're off live. And I hope that you gained something from having spent the time with me today. Love and light. Have a great weekend.